This is not one chance.
See if I can roll
Printing
2
our
blunts
inside
out of
man
this.
came at a terrible price. You'll find them and exchange your briefcase for it. Hopefully, he's obtained the explosives we'll need for his case.
You worry too much, Major.
That's my job.
I'll meet you in front of the garrison when the operation is complete.
Who sent you?
Herr Spiegel.
Good. Whatever happens, once you make the trade, you must maintain possession of the briefcase at all times.
I've come this far. I'll be damn sure I'm going to finish it.
Great. What I didn't want to do, I just fucking did. I spilled tobacco all over me.
Machen wir weiter. Die Papiere bitte. Und bitte reichen Sie uns Ihre Tasche.
Bitte sehr.
Ich habe Sie hier noch nie gesehen. Was ist der Grund Ihres Besuchs?
Ich habe Reisedokumente für Polizeiführer Heinrich.
Ich wurde darüber nicht informiert. Aber Ihre Papiere scheinen in Ordnung zu sein. Sie können weiter, Frau Schneider.
Now remember, your contact's name is Fisher. He's wearing a grey officer's uniform. Tell me the passphrase.
Berlin.
Good luck.
Entschuldigen Sie bitte.
Brauchen Sie irgendwas?
Guten Tag.
Irgendwer hat mir vom Herbstlied erzählt. Wissen Sie, was das ist?
Das ist ein Gedicht, das die Resistance verwendet. Davon zu sprechen kann Ärger geben. Zeigen Sie mal Ihre Papiere.
Tut mir leid, aber das wusste ich nicht. Bitte sehr.
Schon gut. Aber wir müssen vorsichtig sein. Zu wem wollen Sie?
Ich habe Befehle für Polizeiführer Heinrich.
Ja, hier steht es. Reisedokumente. Sie finden Herrn Heinrich in seinem Büro im 2. Stock.
Ich soll mich bei Oberst Fischer melden. Sind Sie das?
Nein, Herr Fischer spielt wahrscheinlich mit den Soldaten im Kellergarten.
Vielen Dank.
Gern geschehen.
Der Keller ist für Personen ohne entsprechende Freigabe gesperrt.
Guten Abend.
Sie sollten nicht hier unten sein. Die Jungs sind umgehobelt.
Kennen Sie den Dichter Verlaine?
Ein guter Deutscher liest keine französische Poesie. Vielleicht sind Sie ja gar keine Deutsche. Zeigen Sie mal Ihre Papiere her.
Aber natürlich. Hier sind Sie.
Nennen Sie Ihren Namen.
Gerda Schneider.
Ja, Gerda Schneider. Ein guter, starker deutscher Name.
Okay.
Danke für Ihre Hilfe.
War mir ein Vergnügen.
Je suis de votre côté. Qui êtes-vous? Courage. Vous n'êtes pas seul. Battez-vous avec moi pour libérer la vie.
Verschwinden Sie! Das geht Sie nichts an!
Ça suffit. Mais qu'est-ce que... Restez cachés. La résistance sera bientôt là. Vos camarades sont en chemin. Vive la résistance.
Vive la résistance.
Guten Abend.
Wieder zurück? Was kann ich für Sie tun?
Man sagte mir, Oberst Fischer würde hier unten im Keller Karten spielen. Haben Sie ihn gesehen?
Der Oberst ist gerade gegangen, um ein Treffen vorzubereiten. Er dürfte im ersten Stock sein.
Danke für Ihre Hilfe.
War mir ein Vergnügen.
Cool. Now I can smoke a blunt. I rolled them both up.
Personalabteilung.
Können Sie mir helfen?
Ja, was gibt es?
Let me do something real quick.
Entschuldigen Sie die Störung. Sind Sie Oberst Fischer?
Nein, Fischer ist im anderen Zimmer.
Ich werde dann jetzt gehen.
Ja.
Grab a hair tie.
Entschuldigen Sie bitte die Störung, mein Herr.
Wie kann ich Ihnen helfen?
The fuck? I thought I took some hair ties off here when I was sleeping. Pretty sure I did. I took 2 off. Here we go.
Are you ready to make the exchange?
Yeah, that's what I need. I have the explosives in a case matching yours. We'll have to make the swap in the war room.
Lead the way.
Oh, hey, watch.
Let me go back to my book real quick.
Use your cover to get into Heinrich's office on the 3rd floor. From there, you can cut across to the north wing and avoid the checkpoints. We shouldn't be seen together. Go now, and I'll meet you in the war room.
We were elated over reaching the eastern shore, at being able to fire on the enemy in the open. A few Japanese escaped and scrambled among the rocks on the promontory. "Okay, you guys, line them up and squeeze them off," said a sergeant. "You don't kill them with the noise, it's the slugs that do it. You guys couldn't hit a bull in the ass with a bass fiddle," he roared. Several more Japanese ran out from the cover of the mangroves. A burst of rifle fire sent every one of them splashing. "That's better," growled the sergeant. The mortarmen put down our loads and stood by to set up the guns. We didn't fire at the enemy with our carbines. Rifles were more effective than carbines at that range. So we just watched. Firing increased from our rear. We had no contact with Marine units on our right or left, but the veterans weren't concerned with anything but the enemy on the reef. "Stand by to move out," came the order. "What the hell?" grumbled the veteran as we headed back into the scrub. "We fight like hell and reach our objective and they order us to fall back." Others joined in the grumbling. "Aw, knock it off. We gotta gain contact with the 7th Marines," an NCO said. We headed back into the thick scrub. For some time, I completely lost my bearings and had no idea where we were going. Unknown to the Marines, there were 2 parallel north-south trails, about 200 yards apart, winding through the thick scrub. Poor maps, poor visibility, and numerous snipers made it difficult to distinguish the 2 trails. When 3-5, with Company K on its right flank, reached the first westernmost trail, it was then actually abreast of 3-7. However, due to poor visibility, contact couldn't be made between the 2 battalions. It was thought 3-5 was too far to the rear, so 3-5 was ordered to move forward to come abreast of 3-7. By the time this error was realized, 3-5 had pushed 300 to 400 yards ahead of
Damn,
the
that's not good. They're far up there.
For the second time on D-Day, K-35 was the forwardmost exposed right flank element of the division. The entire 3rd Battalion 5th Marines formed a deep salient, reaching into enemy territory to the east coast. To make matters worse, the battalion's 3 companies had lost contact with each other. These
So they're blind.
isolated units were in critical danger of being cut off and surrounded by the Japanese. The weather was getting increasingly hot, and I was soaked with sweat. I began eating salt tablets and taking frequent drinks of tepid water from my canteens. We were warned to save our water as long as possible, because no one knew when we would get any more. A sweating runner with a worried face came up from the rear. "Hey, you guys, where's K Company's CO?" he asked. We told him where we thought Ack could be located. "What's the hot dope?" someone asked, with that same anxious question always put to runners. "Battalion CP says we just got to establish contact with the 7th Marines, because if the Nips counterattack, they'll come right through the gap," he said as he hurried on. "Jesus," said a man near me. We moved forward and came up with the rest of the company in a clearing. The platoons formed up and took casualty reports. Japanese mortar and artillery fire increased. The shelling became heavy, indicating the probability of a counterattack. Most of their fire whistled over us and fell to our rear. This seemed strange, although fortunate to me at the time. The order came for us to move out a short distance to the edge of the scrub. At approximately 1650, I looked out across the open airfield toward the southern extremities of the Coral Ridges, collectively called Bloody Nose Ridge, and saw vehicles of some sort moving amid swirling clouds of dust. "Hey," I said to a veteran next to me, "what are those Amtraks doing all the way across the airfield toward the Jap lines?"
I can call my girlfriend real quick.
"Them ain't Amtrak."
I hate having the hiccups. Especially when I'm smoking weed. What the fuck? Ooh. Let me go get my other pad real quick. People always wonder, why do you have a little medical dictator with ash? And the reason I have this is so I could put the blunt out. If you put it on ash, it'll put out quickly. Better than it'd be put out if you put it on fucking a hard surface. You're just breaking the blunt. So yeah, that's why I have just an ashtray with nothing but ash in it. See how it got put out so easy. I rolled 2 blunts, one I can smoke to my head, and then when my girlfriend gets here, I can smoke one with her, so she can't get mad and say, "You didn't smoke a blunt with me. It was my weed." Nigga, you took off to go hang out sassy. I'm not in the mix of all that shit. I don't care. Keep me out of it. And she says, come with me, meet Sassy. No, nigga. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't having nothing to do with anyone. I don't mind you hanging out with her. That's your shit. Go ahead. But as far as me, I don't know. I said. Let's see if she answers. Come on, motherfucker. Like, what are you doing? This is what bugs the shit out of me. It's like, Casino, what the fuck are you doing? But if I ignored her call, if I ignored my girlfriend's call, she'd be pissed. What are you doing? Answer your fucking phone. Blah, 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 blah. But when it's me, it's all good. Whatever.
They're nip tanks, he said. Shell bursts appeared among the enemy tanks. Some of our Sherman tanks had arrived at the edge of the airfield on our left and opened fire.
Good.
Because of the clouds of dust and the shell fire, I couldn't see much and didn't see any enemy infantry, but the firing on our left was heavy. Word came for us to deploy on the double. The riflemen formed a line at the edge of the scrub along a trail and lay prone, trying to take what cover they could. From the beginning to the end on Peleliu, it was all but impossible to dig into the hard coral rock, so the men piled rocks around themselves and got behind logs and debris. Snafu and I set up our 60mm mortar a few yards behind them, across the trail in a shallow crater. Everyone got edgy as the order came. Stand by to repel counterattack. Counterattack Company I Company's front. I didn't know where Company I was, but I thought it was on our left, somewhere. Although I had great confidence in our officers and NCOs, it seemed to me that we were alone and confused in the middle of a rumbling chaos, with snipers everywhere and with no contact with any other units. I thought all of us would be lost. They need to get some more damn troops up here, growled Snafu, his standard remark in a tight spot. Snafu set up the gun, and I removed an HE, high explosive, shell from the canister in my ammo bag. At last we could return fire. Snafu yelled, "Fire!" Just then a Marine tank to our rear mistook us for enemy troops. As soon as my hand went up to drop the round down the tube, a machine gun cut loose. It sounded like one of ours, at the rear of all places. As I peeked over the edge of the crater through the dust and smoke and saw a Sherman tank in a clearing behind us, The tank fired its 75mm gun off to our right rear. The shell exploded nearby, around a bend in the same trail we were on. I then heard the report of a Japanese field gun located there as a return fire on the tank. Again, I tried to fire, but the machine gun opened up as before. "Sledgehammer, don't let him hit that shell. We'll all be blown to hell," said a worried ammo carrier crouched in the crater near me. "Don't worry, that's my hand he just about hit," I snapped. Our tank and the Japanese field gun kept up their duel. "By God, when that tank knocks out that nip gun, he'll swing a 75 over this-a-way, and it'll be our ass. He thinks we're nips," said a veteran in the crater. "Oh, Jesus," someone moaned. A surge of panic rose within me. In a brief moment, our tank had reduced me from a well-trained, determined assistant mortar gunner to a quivering mass of terror. It was not just that I was being fired at by a machine gun that unnerved me so terribly, but that it was one of ours. To be killed by the enemy was bad enough. That was a real possibility I had prepared myself for. But to be killed by mistake by my own comrades was something I found hard to accept. It was just too much. An authoritative voice across the trail yelled, "Secure the mortar." A volunteer crawled off to the left, and soon the tank ceased firing on us. We learned later that our tankers were firing on us because we had moved too far ahead. They thought we were enemy support for the field gun. This also explained why the enemy shelling was passing over and exploding behind us. Tragically, the Marine who saved us by identifying us to the tanker was shot off the tank and killed by a sniper. The heavy firing on our left had about subsided, so the Japanese counterattack had been broken. Regrettably, I hadn't helped at all because we were pinned down by one of our own tanks. Some of us went along the trail and looked at the Japanese field gun. It was a well-made, formidable-looking piece of artillery.
Okay, that's how we do it.
I was surprised that the wheels were the heavy wooden kind, typical of field guns of the 19th century. The Japanese gun crew was sprawled around the piece. "Them's the biggest nips I ever saw," one veteran said. "Look at them sons of bitches. They's all over 6 foot tall," said another. "That must be some of that flower of the Guandun Army we've been hearing about," put in a corporal. The Japanese counterattack was no wild, suicidal banzai charge, such as Marine experience in the past would have led us to expect. Numerous times during D-Day, I heard the dogmatic claim by experienced veterans that the enemy would banzai. "They'll pull a banzai and we'll tear their ass up. Then we can get the hell off of this hot rock, and maybe the CG will send the division back to Melbourne." Rather than a banzai, the Japanese counter-thrust turned out to be a well-coordinated tank infantry attack. Approximately one company of Japanese infantry, together with about 13 tanks, had moved carefully across the airfield until annihilated by the Marines on our left. This was our first warning that the Japanese might find